Same sexican Mexican men sue a church in Albuquerque, New Mexico for refusing to acknowledge them as a couple. Oh, they're a couple, all right. A couple of fruitcakes, if you ask me. For those of you who don't know my stance on gay marriage and gay people, I agree with 429 CJ Mustang, who said, quote, "There's a special place in hell for carpet munchers and fudge packers, right next to Muslims and Democrats," unquote. Speaking of Muslims, what's so bad about being anti-Islam? I'm anti-Islam, and I'm proud of it too. You know the movie Crazy Stupid Love? Well, it was probably based off of Islam, because Muslims will literally kill you if you don't love Islam. Now that's crazy. Gay Muslims were dancing while goat humpers were looking on, as seen in a video, probably for a dumb protest or something. And Islam actually believes that if you die, 72 virgins will fuck you in the ass. And that's just stupid. A liberal atheist will argue the point God doesn't exist because of lack of proof, but insists that Islam is a religion of peace, disowning the mass amounts of proof proving otherwise, like a football coach disowning his gay son. How can you demand proof, then ignore it? That's just downright ignorant. Like the protest sign that says behead those who insult Islam, and then the woman who got beheaded for refusing to convert to Islam. Speaking of liberals, Danny Trejo is opening up a new taco restaurant, but it's going to be near Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, popular with a lot of blacks. The reason I bring up liberals is because which restaurant will they go to first to seem less racist? Now I want to bring up the invisibility cloak I've been hearing about in the news. Invisibility cloaks aren't just for Harry Potter. They're a real thing now. Scientists have invented a real-life invisibility cloak. I just want to say one thing about this cloak. It's strictly for the military, and if we recall, the soldier who made it over the White House fence through the main gate of the White House, he had 500 rounds of ammunition in his car. I mean, just put two and two together. A couple things I want to talk about. Remember when the liberal left-wing lesbian media took out of context the clip of Mitt Romney talking about the grocery store checkout, calling it the Bush scanner moment, saying they push the button, give the cashier the money, and you get your sandwich? He was going to finish with "That's how the economy should work," but they edited it saying Mitt Romney rarely goes to the grocery store and making a big deal out of nothing. But remember this, President Obama didn't know how to work a smartphone. Talk about out of touch. This was back in 2011, so it was still in the tech age, as we call it. Why is it okay for a man to have a husband but not multiple wives? Why do atheists like Bill Maher, who doesn't believe in God, but then bring up how many women and children he killed? Okay, so Bill Maher was doing a joke about how uninformed people are, and he read the percentage of people who think Bush had prior knowledge to 9/11. That was, I want to say, 35%. Then it goes on to say, which is not true because of the words Bush and knowledge. Stop calling former President Bush stupid. Stop insulting his intelligence. I looked up on Google, and it said he had a GPA of 2.3, and he maintained a gentlemanly C+ average at Harvard Business School. Do you know what happened to Obama? He failed and got kicked out. His law reviews were shitty, and he got kicked out for sexual harassment of male students. Like Tracy Morgan said, being gay is stupid, quote unquote. And Obama is living proof. You remember when I told you Obama cut his vacation short at Martha's Vineyard to go back to Washington? What did he get done in the White House when he went back suddenly? Turns out he was actually looking for a new vacation spot in one of those 7 states only he knew about when he said he's been to all 57 states. Speaking of that, did you hear about Tony Bennett missing one word of God Bless America? And the media was talking all about that. My dad wonders, why didn't the media say anything about when Obama thought there were 57 states? Well, I'll take that one. He got confused, and he was actually thinking of the number of different variety of pickles there are. And that is 57. And believe me, he isn't thinking about eating them either. Another thing I want to talk about is the sagging pants deal. I heard a lot of talk that was started in prison to let other inmates know they were available for being ass-banged. I thought that was what dropping the soap was for. And besides, if you're a rapist in jail, someone else's consent to penetrate them is going to mean about as much to you as the votes of Congress mean to Obama. Speaking of Obama, a retired police officer, Michael Blake, stopped the robbery of a $37,000 watch. If only more police officers were around during the 2008 and 2012 election to stop those steals. Let me tell you a couple things. Obama has come up with a couple names for this terrorist group. First it was ISIS, then ISIL, now ICE. If we reverse the order of those names, it comes up with a very peculiar question. Is ISIL ISIS? Almost makes this whole thing look intentional, doesn't it? Another thing, liberals don't believe in gay rights. They just want to destroy the meaning and spirit of America, one aspect of at a time, starting with men liking the ass and pecs of other men. I would like to say Malala Yousafzai and Kailash Satyarthi were awarded Nobel Peace Prizes. Since they're both Muslim, that's like honoring Michelle Obama the Woman of the Year. Or even a woman, period. One more thing. Don't liberals always say Republicans are trying to brainwash you into thinking like they do? What do you think the liberals are doing with this pro-homosexuality education? Just stop fucking voting Democrat.